Welcome friends to my channel. We are going to learn multiple linear regression with LINEST function in Excel. I'm going to try to make it as easy and simple as possible. I'm going to do it live so you can kind of follow along. I'll give you some tips to how to prepare for this practice. You can download a data set which is called Student Performance from kaggle.com or any other source. And then you can so this data set had like a lot of rows, 10,000 or more. And I copied some of that to this new sheet so I could, work while making this video so you could follow along. So my data right now has about 100 rows. What we have in data, let's just talk about that real quick so you know what I have. The first column is my hours studied data. So students studied this many hours. Then we have previous scores of the test, and we have sleep hours. Then the fourth column is sample questions practiced. So if you notice, I labeled them X1, X2, and X3. So that is because those are all my X variables. And I'm hoping you already know, but I'm still going to review a little bit. X variable are called our independent variable in terms of regression and in regression analysis. We find a relationship between our X variables and our Y variables. So Y, on the other hand, are dependent variables, which vary based on our X variables. And also, this is not simple linear regression in which we only have one X variable. This is multiple linear regression, so we have more than one, in this case, 4X variables. So basically, we're going to find a relationship between all of these independent factors and find how they affect the outcome variable or the Y variable, which is performance index for a student. So once we find or understand a relationship based on the data we have here, we're going to be able to predict the Y or the performance index for other students whom we have this data available. I hope I made it clear. We're going to do it together now. So what I'm going to do is show you, after I explain my data, all we have 4x's, we have y. We're going to calculate predicted y, but to find our predicted or estimated y, we need to have a formula for that. In this case, it's called model equation. What coefficients are we going to use and how we're going to find our y? And then we're going to find some errors. How different is our predicted value from what we have in reality? So we're going to do multiple linear regression using LINEST function. So let's start. I'm going to start it here. So what you do is equal sign, you type LINEST, and then it already tells you what to feed in. So your known y's, which is our known y right here, our performance index. So we're going to highlight the entire column right here, and then put comma, and then it's asking for known x's. So we have like 4x columns. You're going to highlight all of them the same way, all 100 values. Okay, then put comma, and it's asking if we want constants for our outcome, our output. So we'll put 1 or true. It's still the same. I'm going to put 1, then comma. It's asking if you want full stats, then yes, put 1, and then close parentheses and hit enter. Once we did that, we have this kind of confusing set of numbers, but don't worry, I'm going to explain that one by one. So this right here is our y-intercept, which is the value of y when our x is considered as 0. And the outcome of all these x's, the coefficients for all these x's, are going to be in a reverse order. So this one is for X1, which is our hours studied. This is for X2, which is our previous course. This is for X3, which is our sleep hours. This is our for X4, which is our sample questions. Um, okay, I'm gonna highlight these for you real quick. Okay, I made it bold for you. So now we have coefficients here. Then we have r squared. Okay, all right. So to make it simple, these are standard errors. All right. Now to make it simple for you, I'm going to show you how we're going to calculate. So this is a model equation. So how are we going to predict our y-scores? We will use y-intercept, which is right here, minus 33, plus x1 coefficient, which is 2.875, times the hour studied, our actual x variable. Then plus x2, which is our coefficient right here, would multiplied by x2. And then we'll have plus x3, our coefficient times x3 variable, which is sleep hours, plus x4 coefficient right here, times our performance index, our sample questions practiced variable. So all of that, I'm going to do that live right now, but to make things easier for you, let's just round these numbers to nearest 3. For that, we'll highlight. We're going to do format cells, custom, and here you can choose 2 decimal places or 3 decimal places. I'll just keep it to 2 to make it simple. All right, and then from here, let's start predicting our y variable. So we'll hit equal our intercept. Okay, what I'm going to do is to make sure I put a $sign here in the beginning and the end of our letter, which is our column number, because that way it kind of locks um, the exact number we're going to replicate throughout our values. So we've got our y-intercept, and then based on the formula I was reading with you right here, we're going to do plus sign, then our x1 coefficient, okay? And in the same way right here, I will put $signs on either side of that letter. So our x1 times x1 variable right here, then plus our x2 coefficient. Don't forget to add those $signs, because if you don't, it's gonna go down with every value and it's gonna give you false calculations. So this variable times our x2 variable right here, then add a plus sign for our next variable calculations, which is 0.43. Don't forget to add that $sign and multiply with, it's our x3, and then plus sign. The same thing for the fourth variable. And I'm not going to forget again to add this $sign right here. Okay. And times our fourth variable right here. All right. And then with this, I'm going to hit enter. So as you saw, my predicted value. So if I did not know my y, and I just used the model that we just calculated, and I put all the values that I have in here, I was able to predict pretty close. And if I round this value, I will find pretty accurate results. Okay. So how do you get this for everything else? We'll just double click on this little square right here. Okay, now we have our predicted y values for all of those rows of data we have. Again, the same thing. I'm going to round this. Right click, go to format cells, custom. If you want to round it to, no decimal place, it will see. Okay. Alrighty. There's something wrong. Let's see if it wants me to. Okay. All right. So from here, I'm also going to calculate my errors or my difference. Is simply this, my predicted value minus the actual y value. I hit enter and replicate that for all the rows I have. So this is what it is. It's a pretty simple explanation of multiple linear regression using LINEST function in Excel. Feel free to like and subscribe this video, and please share with your friends if you found value in it. I'm going to be making more and more videos in a very simple way for you to learn and for me to practice. One more thing I didn't mention, it's r squared, which is 0.99, which is 99% actually. This means how much of our y variability is explained with our x variables. So for a model to be a really, really good model, it should be close to 1. That's the best. That means like all of y is explained by the variabilities y, and y is explained by our model. So this is a really good value. So we are happy with the results. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.